Hello, good morning. How you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and I am in downtown Chattanooga right now, and it is raining, so I have my rain jacket on, and I'm going to try to do some street photography. The rain's supposed to be going away within the next hour or so, I hope. It's been crazy rain overnight, trees down back home in our neighborhood. But anyway, I found myself downtown, and today I have the Canon R6 Mark II, and I also have with me the chonk. I have the 28 to 70 f2 lens, which is just a crazy lens to try to use. For some reason, I don't have a cloth with me to dry off my gear, so hopefully the weather sealing works. But I'm going to wander around in downtown Chattanooga and try to make some street photography type photos. And I also have to purchase a suit while I'm down here about a block away at Giorgio's for my daughter's wedding. But anyway, let's get started. We'll start off with a little bonus. This is a couple of pictures that I made with the same gear, the 28 to 70 f2 and the Canon R6 Mark II at the Chattanooga market a few days before I did my rainy street photography. I took a picture of these two young ladies that were there, and I tried to get them on the same plane, but I failed to do so. So the girl on the right is nicely in focus and the girl on the left is slightly out of focus, but I love the rendering and the way things look in this shot with the 28 to 70 f2 at 70 millimeters. Here's another shot from the market, another wide open shot at f2. My subject is the young lady who's operating this booth, but you can see lots of activity going on in the background there, and I think the other person operating the booth is observing me making the photograph. Here's a 50 millimeter shot. It's a selfie. There was a booth there at the Chattanooga market where a gentleman was selling these walking sticks made out of old trees, I guess. And he had an ancient surveillance system, just a few camcorders, so I made a photograph of myself in the flip screen of this one. Okay, now we are on the rainy day photos, just a photograph of a puddle to show that it is actively raining, kind of to get my settings right. I started out at 1/100th ISO 640. I was using auto ISO in these. This is a 28 millimeter shot. This is another 28 millimeter shot, somebody crossing the road here. I used the wide end of the lens just to kind of show the scale of the situation. The buildings in Chattanooga are not huge, but they're pretty big, and you can see how small a human is in the middle of this intersection. I always have to make a photograph looking up 8th Street at the Dome building. Love this shot, and I always park right here too. If I go downtown, you can almost bet that I'll be parked right here on 8th Street. This is a 70 millimeter shot, still wide open at f2. Love the way this one turned out. I love these trees that line this street and the huge sidewalks. And this young lady who is walking, I don't know if she's walking to her car or walking to the bus stop. This is the bus stop over here. But she is just enjoying her day out in the rain with her umbrella. And I just love the leading lines in this and all these lights that are on. And you can see, if you look closely, you can see the rain coming down. Just really happy with this one. Here's an up-close shot of, I guess, something that you could plug a fire hose into on the side of one of the buildings. Lots of bokeh in this, and you can see right up here, you can see it's actively raining in this shot as well. Another 70 millimeter shot. This is a 70 millimeter shot of one of the flowers. There are several planters in downtown Chattanooga, and this 1/100th of a second shot of this little flower I thought turned out nice, especially with the water on it. And here's a parking meter in focus with the rest of the shot out of focus, and you can see rain actively falling in this one as well. I thought this turned out kind of cool. This one's 33 millimeters. All these are wide open at f2. My buddy David Sailors has noticed that I love to make photographs of fire hydrants, and I don't know what he's talking about. I never take photographs of fire hydrants, but here is a fire hydrant photograph, 70 millimeters f2 in the actively falling rain. And I like these lights across the street and the car driving down the road. Like the way this turned out, but I think I made another one. Yes, this is another one. This one is 58 millimeters instead of 70 millimeters. Got an old Monte Carlo going down the street over here, and you got more of the street lights in the background in this one. And you can see the rain as well. I wish this car right here on the right wasn't in the shot, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with this shot. But you know, I really don't like to photograph fire hydrants that much. Oh, look, it's a fire hydrant. This is a 70 millimeter shot at f2. Now, lots of people, hundreds of people probably, myself included, have made photographs of the Tivoli Theater marquee across the street. But I wonder how many people have made a shot with a $3,100 f2 zoom lens of a fire hydrant with the Tivoli Theater in the background. Only one I can think of. Well, there is my soaking wet R6 Mark II and 28 to 70 f2. I've been really enjoying working out here. Lots of traffic. Working out here in the rain. Everything has a really beautiful look to it when it's soaking wet. And even though it's daytime, it's like almost 11 a.m. Everybody's running their lights because it's raining, and the light is beautiful bouncing around these tall buildings. So having a pretty good morning of it so far, it seems. I don't know if I'm taking any real street photography photos. I don't know. I guess everything you take on the street is a street photography photo, but I'm taking pictures of fire hydrants and just all sorts of weird stuff. Let's see what else I get. This is another 70mm shot at f2 of the lady with the Go Big Orange Tennessee Vols umbrella as she crosses the road. And while the lady crossing the street is the subject of the shot, she's not the only thing to see in the shot. This is another look how big even the small downtown Chattanooga area is. It just swallows up a human being as they walk across the road. I really like this Mesa Associates Incorporated sign. I made a couple of shots of it. I'm only sharing one with you. And even though you can see over here in the top right, there's lots of light. Here in the middle, it's pretty dark. And look at all the rain landing in this puddle. And here's somebody with an umbrella over here waiting for the bus to come. This one's 32mm at f2. I made a selfie at 39mm f2 in this parabolic mirror that's at the entrance of a parking garage so you can see around the corner. I gotta say that rain jacket, that Patagonia Torrent Shell 3-layer, did a great job keeping me dry as I walked around in the rain today. Now on this one I stopped it all the way down to f10 so I could get a slow shutter speed. I wanted to have all the buildings perfectly in focus and the fire engine rushing by blurred, but I didn't hold the camera steady enough for this 1/5 of a second shot, so the fire engine is very blurred and everything else is slightly blurred. Back to f2 for this 70mm shot. I'm focused on the Taylor sign, as you can see on the glass, and inside you can see some very bokeh-fied, out of focus people. You got the person operating the store on the left and the customer on the right, and they were talking about their business that they were doing, and I thought this shot turned out kind of neat. Here's a 28mm shot of a detour head sign that got blown over by the wind in the storm. This is what a detour head sign would look like if it went to the gynecologist. Oh no, it's another fire hydrant shot. You know, I really don't like to make photographs of fire hydrants, but maybe I do like to make photographs of fire hydrants. This is a 60mm shot at f2, and I love the bright colors of the fire hydrant mixed in with the dirty nastiness of the fire hydrant. It makes lots of nice contrast, and of course you can actively see the rain in the background of this, and I like the writing on the fire hydrant. I don't know, I like to make pictures of fire hydrants, I guess. For this shot, I slowed down to 1/40th of a second to try to get the smoothest, creamiest f2 background I could, and that wall is not that far away that's in the background, but I'm pretty close to minimum focus distance. This lens doesn't have a whole lot of magnification, but it is capable of making a beautiful shot of a flower. On this shot, I focused on the pizza sign and I tried to capture the reflection of it in the water, which I did to a certain extent. And with the focus point being pretty far away, even though I'm wide open at f2, most of this shot is in focus. And that's pretty normal. If you focus on something that's really close, you can get the background out of focus. And if you focus on something that's pretty far away, most of the shot will be in focus. 28mm, f2. 1/200th of a second. Look at the chonk, look at the chonk. It's crazy. Well, the rain is slowing down a little bit, as you can tell, because I don't have my hood on. And I finally just got an umbrella crossing the road photograph, which was kind of my goal of shooting in the rain. But all the reflections have been really cool too. And just the way colors pop in rainy situations. I'm going towards West Village now to get some more shots, hopefully. Here's a photograph of a lady as she's crossing the road. I told her I liked her umbrella and she smiled, didn't get mad at me for taking her picture. And I tell you, I've got some shoes like this. I think mine might be a different brand, but whenever I wear shoes with a white sole, I always make sure to not wear them on a rainy day because for some reason the white soled shoes are always really slick. So hope she doesn't fall. 70mm shot at f2 as she crosses the road near the construction. Now we're in the West Village area as this smartly dressed gentleman crosses the road, and you can see the rain has stopped. He's just carrying his umbrella instead of holding it open. I still like the way this shot turned out, and looks like he's really concentrating as he crosses the road here. I just saw a whole group of people who were about to walk by in front of this umbrella alley, So I waited for them and got the shot, and they all apologized to me for getting in the shot. And I was like, no, you guys look good with the umbrellas behind you. Here's the group of people that I waited for them to come by with the umbrellas in the background on the umbrella alley. And it was so funny. All of them apologized for being in the shot. I really thought it was going to turn out a lot better. I wish they were all looking at me at the time that I made this shot, but it looks like they are checking out the umbrella alley as they go by. If you go down the umbrella alley and make a right, there's another alley, and this poster or whatever it is was there. I really like this artwork. It almost has a three-dimensional look to it, and I decided I had to make a photograph of it. This is another pedestrian walking through the West Village area. This one I thought looked better in black and white, and it's almost lunchtime, so there was a lot of people out walking, but the rain had stopped, and I got this shot. And you can see the man, and he's in focus, but you can also see lots of reflections. There's a nice looking car here reflected. And if you look really close, just behind the man, you can see the reflection of the man in the glass. And also, unfortunately, you can see the reflection of me right here in the glass. This is 70 millimeters, also f2. And there's a restaurant right there in the West Village area, and no one is paying attention to me except for one guy who has laser focused on me. And this is a 70 millimeter shot at f2 of these folks in this cafe. They got pretty good food there. I've eaten there a couple times. Pretty good food, reasonably priced. Now I'm back on 8th Street, and these two gentlemen are walking towards me. And of course, I've got the dome building in the background, which I love to make photographs looking up 8th Street with the dome building in the background. And I like the way this one turned out pretty much. This is another 70 millimeter shot at f2. Another 70 millimeter shot at f2. On this one, I got down low. I usually try to get down low for a lot of my street photography shots, but when I sat down the first time, I noticed I got my pants wet, so I didn't sit down anymore, but I did sit down for this one as these folks walked across the road there. Thought this one turned out pretty good. Just a beautiful area right around 8th Street in downtown Chattanooga. Had a pretty good time this morning using the chonk, the old 28-70 f2, the craziest lens I've ever owned. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. This is probably the third time I've tried to use this lens. I've tried to use it in the studio. It has too much focus breathing for that. I did some street photography at the market. I didn't do too well, but I think today I finally have produced a YouTube video doing photography with the chonk. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see some more stuff like this, subscribe and hit the bell, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.